All right, guys, we have not done this in a while. I should be doing this more. I used to do it, I'd say at least once a month, the Q&As, because you guys want to know things. I probably know the answers to most of it. Let's see here. Let's let some people come on. This is serious questions, guys. Serious questions. You guys ask the same questions, so I got you right now. Let's go. What do you guys want to know? I'm gonna look for the first question. Free pick is 652 Utah State minus 12. The thing is, the reason I'm doing this too is you guys ask the same questions daily. So we can go over it right now. Yeah, it's minus 12, not 12 and a half. This is serious questions right here too, guys. How often are you altering your model with new variables? Good question. I think too, when you find anything successful in life, I wouldn't alter it too much, but I am tweaking it, yes, weekly throughout each season. But like I said, 99% of it's down. But there's little things okay, for example, I'll give you an example. I used to, if a team played an overtime game the night before, it's worth 1 point, 2 points double overtime. And I've kind of also, like, let's say I have a lean and they had an overtime game 2 days ago. I'll just pass, because I think it still carries over, even though you have the 1 day break. I think it still carries over to the next game. So I tweaked that a little bit, but just by about a half point. and that's an NBA. What programs do you use to see where the public is on? I mean, you can, I don't check it myself, but this is all over the internet. I mean, there's like 10 different places that show this. Like, just Google it. I don't look at that myself. I can see it on Don Best. Don Best is the answer, but I don't obsess over that. But I do, I do care a little bit, mostly for leans, but I don't, like today I didn't even check it. Okay, he's giving a pick. That's good. Why are lines weird, such as the Arkansas line of -1? What causes the spread to be like that? It's a basic model that they use, power rankings. Is a team coming off? They don't really do this, but I do it. Is a team coming off a win or a loss, injuries, who's at home, etc.? What do you mean? He says, do you look to bear the vig on every bet? Elaborate on that. I got you guys. He says, thoughts on line arbitrage. Worth a lot. If you guys can find good arbs, 100% do them. But remember, when you think you have one and things are moving fast, be careful that you don't get one-sided. Meaning, let's say you want something even money, and then you're trying to grab plus 110 the other way, and things aren't moving in real time. If you just get the one side in, and then let's say the other way goes to the plus 110 goes to like minus 115, now you either have to, like I said, leave it open or take a little bit of a loss on the play. So this comes with years of experience that I rarely get one-sided, and even if I do, another tip I'll give you guys on arbitrage: grab the if you're gonna do this, grab the number that's kind of off the going rate more. So, for example, plus 110. Let's say you have even money, and then you're trying plus 110 the other way. Let's say the market's dealing even money, right? And you just want to arb it out. Take the plus 110 first, because the whole market's about even. So a disaster can't really happen there. You know what I mean? But if you do it the other way, a disaster can happen. I told you guys I had your back. I'll answer questions. Do you follow only lines? And I'm reading this out because I plan on saving it. That's why I'm reading everybody's question. Do you follow only lines and bet what casino does? Elaborate on that. Sorry if I just don't know what you're saying. I'm not sure. He says, how many units are you up last season? Not sure. And then I'm all over the place, literally betting something every second. So it would, for me, I'm up quite a bit, but for me to put it into units, and then some things I'll have as little as like 200 on, all the way to 25, 40,000. I've had $40,000 bets. I mean, this is hard for me to put it all into units. Are you familiar with sportsinsights.com? No. So if that's something strong working for you, go ahead. This is a good question. Is there any value in buying points? Yes. Okay, think about it though. Most of the time, if the sportsbook's offering that, it's probably to their advantage, so be careful. But there are times, usually thin value situations where it's worth it. So let's say in college basketball, it's a super low total, like 120 in the 120s, because the total's so low. Usually each half point in college hoops is worth 10 cents or so, 9 or 10 cents. But in these situations, the lower the total, obviously the better this is. So in this situation, each half point is worth a little bit more than 10 cents. So it's worth it to do that. And then there's certain times in football off key numbers that it's worth it. And to figure out the value of each half point, you can, Pinnacle has a drop down menu. You can see each one. I think Five Dimes does too. Good questions so far. And yeah, like I said, it's really hard for me to respond all day to you guys. 1-800-289-5486. One of my instructors will get you. And a lot of you guys don't understand the mass volume, bankroll management, etc. And they got you. They'll help you out. We want only serious people, though. We don't want somebody that's wants a lock every game or wants to put everything on one play. This is not what we're about. We're about just trying to consistently make money. Scores and odds, I use them. What do you think? I really don't use these kind of. I don't use it. No opinion. Should I continue with single wagers parlays? Keep hitting 4 out of 5. Well, this is why casinos or why sportsbooks offer parlays. It's usually a long run losing thing. It's usually long run losers unless there's some kind of correlation. You should probably do straight bets. Do you like to buy half a point? We covered that a little bit. Do you ever middle a game if you get enough points? Yeah, all the time, daily. I'm doing this daily. Because to just call something a right side or just to just not look at it as a team and not a marketplace, you're just losing value. So yeah, you want to look for all the opportunities that you can, which would be arbitraging, middling. What variables do you look for in priority when judging a game and teams? Power rankings. How can you spot fake outs? Well, I used to go to SBR lines. They had a nice rating guide. I would use that, but now I do a lot of credit and the apps. So I'm so busy that I'm not really looking for the smaller outs like I used to, or the companies that were shaky. I just go through my credit guys and they pay me either way. But that's a good question. These are good questions. I've been meaning to do this. Like I said, my instructors are standing by. They got you. How many of your picks are steam chases? Used to be a high percentage, now very little. I used to when I first started, I did that because I didn't know anything, but I understood if I get the number before it moves, I have an edge. So I just did this all day long. I would follow. I would chase steam like crazy, and then it obviously looks bad. It looks bad, and you're gonna have a lot of heat. But if you guys have opportunities where you can stay chase steam, definitely do it. How are you making your decision on taking a wager to move the lines? Elaborate. Sorry I feel like reread that 5 times and still be a little bit. No opinion. Okay, this is a good question. How do you decide I'm taking this team for 2 units versus 1 unit on this team? Okay, for me, it comes down to, like, I have my base bet, whether it's overnight or the day of the game, and then I usually just keep adding if either my price is better to the going rate meaning Pinnacle, Bet, Chris, the market. If I have either a better price or if the whole market is getting better, if that makes sense. Like yesterday, I fired the Idaho State game like crazy all over the place. It kept getting better. But sometimes this will backfire and you'll lose. Or first halves, I'll sprinkle in some first half. I'll bet it during the game, second half or whatever. But that's a good question. So for me, it's all price dependent and how strong I like it. So if it's my best play of the day and it keeps getting better, this is my game that I'm massively exposed on. Like yesterday, that was my top play, Evansville. I kept firing that. I kept firing. I gave you guys 10, but I kept taking 9.5. I was just 8.5. I think I even took some 8.5. But usually I do it as the price is getting better. But I like the play so much. I knew that the 10 wasn't gonna be there, and I knew there was still a good edge at 8.5, 9. I bet primarily basketball and football, yes. But my favorite is here, yes. Okay, come on, guys. Let's do questions. Are you pressing? I'm D-Mill, I'm always pressing. What's a justifiable line move when a key player is downgraded as out for a game for both college hoops and NBA? Good one. You know, I thought the most a line could move was even if LeBron was out or something, 4 points. And then I saw that day Curry was out and it moved like 7 points. But I would say by default in pro, the first or the second down, 2.5, 3 points, and in college about the same. That's my default. But then you gotta kind of dig deeper, and a lot of people there's sites where the plus and minus when this player's been out. I think a lot of that's just variance, so I kind of tweak it myself and look for either an overreaction or an underreaction. But by default, probably 3. Any insight on California's FanDuel coming? No, but it's obviously good for you guys. All right, I'm going to answer this. Best place in Vegas for a haircut. Sport clips, man. We get to watch the games too. Come on now. I've read to stay away from over and under. Why do you focus mainly on spread and money line? Is there more of an advantage? Also, how much time do you spend researching each day to determine your picks? Good question. I'm focusing on the sides because you can bet more money. And I spend a couple hours, 2 or 3 hours. I'm pretty into it, but once I identify which plays I'm going to focus on, then I look at everything. Like I'll just kind of look at the stuff again on and off, if that makes sense. Good questions though. Is the true line for you Pinnacle and Bookmaker? For the most part, yeah, because they take the most money, they don't back winners out. So in theory, that makes sense. And you can get paid in like 2 seconds. Not literally, but yeah. So if you think about it, this has to be the true line. Like Will Hill used to just ban people that had a pulse, anyone that bet anything. So a company like that, you really can't call the true line because nobody's betting into it that knows what they're doing. Betting against the public is a fundamental default play, Meaning, could you do it blindly and make money? I guess if the price is good enough, in theory, yes, or go contrarian at post. But I guess all winning bettors kind of do it in one sense or another, but I don't just auto do it, if that makes sense. Although in NFL now with the legalization and some of those lines are moving way too much, I kind of feel just next NFL season by default, contrarian post betting will have an edge just off the top. Do you find value on betting NFL preseason? A little bit, but once again, the limits are so low. I can't get into it myself. I can't get into it. Not saying it's just how am I going to go from betting super high to just $500 max, and then even if you beat the move in preseason football, you get cut, you lose your accounts, and just overall, it's not worth it. But definitely look into that. Do you bet live? Yes. I bet everything except that. The next question: do you bet round robins? No. I did those before, but I pretty much stay away from those. I stay away from things like that. I don't know, and I'm not saying I am probably missing some value, but there's only so much time that I have to focus on things. I subscribe to your YouTube channel. How do I get the free day? I'll get back to you on that. I've been cleaning house, betting D-Mills picks, long-term value is what. No, it is. It's all about the long term. And like I said, I want to answer all your questions all the time, but sometimes it's hard, you know. How do you decide taking a 2-unit wager on a team versus one? We went over that. We're gonna post this. Somebody asked the same question. We went over it. Will the casino limit me by betting your picks because you are really sharp? To get limited betting sides, it takes a long time, or to be labeled as sharp. So I don't think you have to worry about this anytime soon. He put Y. I'm trying to answer every question that's a serious question. Y minus 110. He just put Y minus 110 because that's how they do it. Although the some places offer lower takeout. Which would you prefer, a better line in a particular game or handicap the game? Let me reread this question. For this question, I need my Red Bull. Which would you prefer, a better line in a particular game or handy? Oh, okay. Are you saying would I rather have a market edge or just like a blind market edge where I know nothing about it, or a better line on one of my system plays? I would rather have one on my system plays because if I just bet a market edge, like we always say, this opens the door to a lot of heat, getting your account closed. But if it's just like not a market edge, but a good angle on one of my plays, I prefer that. Okay, now we're asking the same questions, which could be time to just cut it and post it. Do often go against the public? Yes. What got you into sports betting? I could do a whole video on that. Some guy, I had no plan of even doing it, and some guy walked me through everything. Literally gave me the keys to the car. How great is that? You're just sitting there, and you ask the guy, hey, who do you have in this game? Because we're watching the game. You know, we're playing poker together. And he goes, and then he showed me both tickets, how he had how he had an arbitrage. And I was like, what? That, you know, obviously when because you're thinking in your head when you don't know anything about it, oh, he's just betting one team and that's that. When he showed me both of them, from that moment forward, I was hooked. I even had my friend, and we would go to different casinos and to look for these opportunities. And me and my friend made, it was like 200,000 in like, which was a lot of money. And we made this doing arbitrages and middles in like, I mean, it was like 2 years. And we just did this part-time. We had our certain hours that we would go, and me and my friend, we were hooked. And then his mom didn't want him gambling, and he joined the military, but we made so much money. I was like, why doesn't everybody do this? And now it's like, it's crazy. Then it died for however many years. And now with all the companies starting, it's like way better than it's ever been before. NBA or college? Both.
Fine.
How can I get better at knowing when to bet in order to get good closing line value? Good. That's a good question, man. So you don't want to chase steam, but when you do have your plays, and then you see, like, you see the market kind of like look at, okay, I'll give a good example. Look at the juice at Pinnacle. So let's say the whole market, or Bet Online, let's say the whole market is 8 on a game, but
Fine.
the -8 at Pinnacle is minus 115. This means the market's moving in that direction. And by the time it won't get to minus 120 at Pinnacle, they'll just move it to 8.5 or 9. Does that make sense? So you kind of want to load up on your play before it's actual steam. So look at the juice on Pinnacle and Bet Online. These are good questions. What's the best app to use if you're living in California? I didn't even know California legalized it, and 2 of you have said that so far. I'm going to have to Google this. Or you just don't know it's not legal. That'd be great, though. California is a big state. Yesterday, 4-1, thanks. What made you like the Evansville play so much? A lot. See, questions like that kind of threaten what I'm doing. So I do you handicap games as well, or do you only look for the best lines? Both. What are you doing now to look at the lines for Penny I just log in directly. CJ said that. Hi, CJ. Do you come with? I have Pinnacle, so I found, since it's not on the screen, I found better lines. Like Evansville, everybody had 8.5 yesterday. Pinnacle had a 9.5, which shocked me. You would never see that if they were on screen still. So I put another bet on 9.5. It moved to 9. I put another bet on 9. So then I wouldn't have had this if it was on the screen. Answered that question. Any tips on when to hedge and when not to hedge? Hedging hits a nerve with me. But I will say this. Let's say I loaded up on that +9 or plus 8.5 yesterday with Evansville, the 2-unit play. Let's say for whatever reason, with no new info, and it wouldn't have happened, it couldn't have happened, but let's just say the line would have moved to 4. Then I would have loaded up on the -4. I would have hedged my bet. But only because there was an edge the other way as well. People that hedge because they're afraid of the money, this is... Listen to my radio, my sportsinsiderradio.com, and we talk about that all the time. Don't hedge because you're scared of the money. If you're scared, go to church. You bet too much in the first place. Sorry, but hedging gets... Since you bet games a day before, that means that you trust the lines more than the players. I think the numbers are more off. The numbers are more off. That's why I do it. Well, yeah, I'll post it. YouTube legend, thanks. Thank you. You guys are the best. YouTube legend. I just started it too. How many times do you usually refire on a game when betting in game? At what point do you stop refiring? I'm pretty much not crazy, but kind of. I'll just keep going. And it's price dependent. It doesn't matter what the score is. I could have a game. I could take a game pick 'em, and by the fourth quarter or second half, I'm laying 14. It's price dependent because think about it. The algorithms key the pregame line for the in play and the second half. So you're kind of still betting the pregame price in theory, no matter what the score is. So if you get extra value on it when you like it already, you have to keep firing. Is the opening line the best line to go by?
Halftime.
Well, it's the line when it opens, and then things change. I love these questions. You must have your own strategy clearly. Question is, how long did it take you to develop it? How many times were you about to quit, and what kept you? This is good. Could do this all day. So to come up with my strategies, I have since day one obsessively thought about everything I'm doing. And obviously I had a mentor that walked me through everything, but I stopped asking him questions like a year into this. One, I didn't want to bother him. Two, he was more all about just prices. You know how they make the joke, the best bettors can't name one player? That was kind of him and the guy that taught him, and they just did mostly arbitrage. But I've never thought about quitting, but I have been frustrated at times because the edges weren't as good. Basically, with the value the prices, at times it was hard to get down with a good price because those certain places either had all banned me or I had a limit cut, etc. And and to this day, obviously, I'm still tweaking things that I'm doing. If that answers your question. And what kept me going was it's fun and I like the money. I don't bet on soccer. He says, is there a best time of the day to make a bet in order to beat the closing line value? In theory, the earlier you bet, if you know what you're doing and have an edge, the more you're gonna beat it, if that makes sense. I should do this every once in a while, and even if I ask the same questions, I can't say I'm here and I'll help you guys if somebody's brand new or whatever, or didn't hear the answer before and asks the same question. I gave out Utah State minus 12, 652. Just a lean though for me. I made a bet for 5,000, and that's probably all I'll be doing with it. We went over that, Zachary. Any advice on tilting and chasing losses? Yeah, obviously the sharper guys in this business detach themselves from this, and it's hard. I remember one time I went 0-8 10 years ago. I went 0-8, 0-8, and I was just like defeated. I was like this, and I think I had, I don't know, a few thousand on each one. 0-8. I just remember that was the one time I felt just tilted. I guess tilted. Yeah, you just. Because everybody has frustration, but the people making the most money can keep this under control. And if you can't, you probably shouldn't be in this business. I'm just being honest. So, for example, the people that I think have no chance to make it in this business, and sorry, it's just the reality, get real excited on wins and they'll say you're the man and this and that. And then on losses, they send angry messages. I just instantly go, okay, this person shouldn't be in this business. Because if you don't understand the whole long run of any marketplace, if you don't understand getting your money in good and long-term value, and you're just all about one play or one day, you're not gonna, you shouldn't be doing this. It's just it's the brutal truth. So I've never really tilted. Like when I was playing poker too, I would never tilt. So I guess this is a strength. This is a skill to be able to control your emotions. Because if you have the ability to just keep betting, I mean, it's your own money, and you can't control this, you're not gonna make it. And I feel sorry for those kind of people. I mean, you should see it. Let's say I give you guys like even a free play. I'll even give a free play loser, and I'll have all these messages, and I'm thinking, okay, this is a very weak bettor. I mean, yeah, don't tilt. Oh man, this is I should do a video just on this. How is positive EV calculated? The short answer is the closing line value. But definitely listen to our Sports Insider Radio. Listen to our radio show, 1400 AM. We'll put more info on that, 1400 AM in Vegas. We really cover a lot of this. And when I first started, if I could have heard myself talking now, it would have helped me a lot. These questions right here would have helped me a lot that we've just answered. So I think it's a must listen if you're serious about it. And some of the stuff we go over is we're just joking around with each other, but some of it gets very serious and heated. We need stuff to be heated because that means guys are serious about it and have passion. The best apps in Philadelphia? Not sure. I don't understand nothing he says. Am I the only one? Keep following me then, man. You're good. Keep following. Because there's no information out there on sports betting. There's none. If somebody wants to know, and it's all a lot of it that I read, I'm going, wow, people can't even build a foundation in this business because it's not accurate. With me, if you just keep listening to me, you can at least build a foundation and hopefully you have success. Hopefully you have success with it. But I see a lot of the stuff out there. It's not going to help you at all. How do you get into Pinnacle? I know a lot of really big time bookmakers. At this point, I know a lot of guys that I can get Pinnacle, but it's really hard. I know for your average person. Never hedges. I'll stay on here a little bit more. Thanks, guys. Yes, I do. I'm going to post this too. I don't have any opinion on that. What's your educational background? Do you strongly rely on data science, EV, and EVSI to make your bet selections? It's a tough one. My background, I just graduated high school. And yeah, I do rely on all that.
Goalies.
But here's the thing too. Whenever people ask me too my educational background, this is kind of irrelevant to. I mean, sure, the more educated you are, I guess it would help you in this business. But I know the sharpest guys in the world. Most of them didn't even go to college. So I guess what I'm saying with this is if you're not very educated, you can still make it in this business. Don't worry about that. I'll help you. Tennis, I would do arbitrage. That's it. I've done tennis arbitrage before. The only thing I never did when everyone was doing the Korean baseball, I just took the COVID break and just worked out in the park and did stuff like that. First time to bet, first half better. He put first half. The question is it's his first half beaver game. I don't know if you're saying is it better to bet the first half. In theory, you want to bet the first half because each half point's worth more. So if you have a market edge on the first half, you want to look for this. So that leads me to the next one. First quarter would even be better. However, when you're betting things like first quarter totals and sides, you're gonna get a lot of heat. So I generally stay away from this, and I bet full game. But in a bigger events, I'll bet the first halves. And because they're looking at it less, so obviously you'll probably find, because the books are more focused on full game, because the limits are higher, you'll find better first half angles. So I do think you guys should, if you're getting into this business and trying to pick winners, betting mine, etc., chasing steam, whatever, look at the first half. Because a lot of times too, when the steam is happening, when the 8's going to 9 everywhere, they're not moving that first half either as quick or they just completely forget about it. So that's a good one. No, I'll help you guys. I got you. guys. You guys are following the right person. You win if you seven. The people want to buy the houses and they call all day. I don't know how to. They call all day. They want to buy my houses. You win and you lose. It comes with the game. Yeah, exactly. Oh shoot. What did I do? I don't know. Oh man, let's see. He put, if you need a free play, you shouldn't be playing. If it's my free play, though. We went over that. No, we went over that. Okay, the best, for somebody who has very little money and it has the apps, my program will still help you. Like I said, I'll repeat it, 1-800-289-5486. My instructors are there. For your own stuff too, I recommend just looking for market discrepancies. I mean, this is a good. Like I said to you earlier, you'll have heat, but market discrepancies are always going to be there. Fingers crossed. Without market discrepancies, can we still win? Sure. Do we beat the market? We definitely beat it. So we'll help you out there. But this is a good business to be in. But don't tilt like we went over. He says if you're confident in the number and it goes up a point and a half, do you stay? Yeah, I don't try to get out of my bags or take a small hedge loss. No, none of that. No hedging. MBA in college, he says, what's better? About the same for me. No thoughts on that. I'm trying to answer serious questions here. Where do you see yourself in 5-10 years down the road? Still doing this. I'm 100% at this. You would be too pat myself on the back. I can't though because it's hard to, but you would be doing it too. Are you going to do a challenge with Steve Stevens? If he puts the money up, I put the money up, we give it to a third party, I'll challenge anyone. It has to be for a lot of money though. I'm not going to do it for a small amount. Like it has to be maybe 100,000 or so. And I'm sure he has that. And if he doesn't, he could come up with it if he really wanted to. We went over that kind of. I don't think educational background equates to intelligence. I really think just being sharp with common sense is what you need. Because when you get too smart, you level yourself, if that makes sense. So let's say you're the smartest guy in the world. You're almost too smart that you go in circles with what you're doing, if that makes sense. Okay, I'll do a couple more, and I'll start doing this more. I feel like every bettor has its own way and area of expertise. Maybe you say your mentor's way was just the tip of the iceberg, and you saw more. Yeah, exactly, and you saw more. Right, and for some 23-year-old watching this right now, or even somebody in their 50s, you could in 10 years be way better at this than me, I guess, in theory. So, but it all comes down to having a good foundation. It's like a house. I mean, if the foundation isn't right, you're basically doomed. So what I got by him was a solid foundation on prices and what's happening. And if I didn't have that solid foundation from a guy actually doing it, because I want to learn from someone actually doing it when I do something. The best way to learn too is to do it. So if I didn't have that, would I be sitting here and have made, a couple $1 million in the last 14 months? Probably not. Would I even have made money and gone with it? Probably not. I mean, I don't know. I can't go back in time. But you need a solid foundation. I got you guys there. Bankroll management. It's key. This is 1-2% per play. I don't even do 0.1% of my bankroll per play because I can't get it down. Now I've got millions in cash. So, and funny, I kind of went all in. Not all in. I left myself like 500,000 or something when COVID happened. I bought a bunch of houses. And so at that point, when I started back up, I guess I was doing 0.1% of my bankroll. But yeah, me and my group here in Colorado, we're probably somewhere around 5 million if I had to guess. So this is a blessing, and will the next couple of years be the same? I hope. If I was looking to talk to you more in detail or get an interview, is that something you'd be open to? Yeah, I mean, sure. And then, like I said, my instructor's standing by 1-800-289-5486. If I'm not around, we got you guys. That's it. We got you. You came to the right person. Came to the right people. We got you guys. Do you have any sharp friends that help you with handicapping games? Yes. Can you pin that number? I don't know how to do that, but I will, yeah. Sorry for my repeated question above about math background. I just needed, no, you're good. I just basically, this stuff all, and I don't know, I can't say for sure. This stuff with basic algebra would have all made sense. Basically in 7th grade, I would have been able to do this, I think. So I didn't need to know how far away the shadow was from the tree. And, this is basic math stuff that we're doing right now. I did fail calculus, I'll admit it. It just passed me by. I didn't really care. I remember it was a tough time. I failed. Got an F, but I didn't need any of that. I'm not saying though in what I'm saying is definitely educate yourself, but for this, I don't think you need much the other skills that you need, like not losing your mind. This doesn't come with going to school or just good instincts in certain spots. The guy who's just got his face in the book or in his whatever he's looking at all day, I don't think that applies to this. That's in the way I'm doing things. What benefit do you provide for someone who is looking to utilize your expertise during March Madness? Oh, you already know. That number, hit that number up. The instructors are there. We got a good system in place. Bankroll Management. We will help you there. Because it's tough when you get the guy, I want one game, I want to go a lot, I don't care. This is tough, so we'd rather deal with a limited number of people and ones that actually have a chance and that aren't going to aggravate us all day. We'd rather have that. We'd rather have the guy or the girl more serious about this. Are your free plays as good as your daily cards? It's all good. Can you explain a plus 1.5 St. Thomas line today when they lost last game by 8 at home and they've been on a 12-game losing streak? What is it that the Vegas algorithms are picking up in? First of all the lines come out of the islands, Costa Rica. Vegas copies what they're doing. Although Circa is making a lot of lines, Westgate sometimes. But it goes by power rankings. Some of the factors too are which way the money has gone in previous games. If they're winning or losing, yes, they'll tweak the power rankings to what's happening. But they don't.
Steam play.
They're not going to just let's say that game was. Let's say they were going to be -4 before this game, and they lost the last game by a lot. They're not going to move it too much off of that. Well, then it would be -1. But they're not going to move. They're not going to just massively overreact off of one game. However, in NFL, I found that, especially in the last couple of years, there's been a lot of overreactions. I'm pretty excited about NFL moving forward, but especially in a sport like baseball, this is where they're going to literally over 2 or 3 wins or losses. They're not going to adjust what the line would have been really at all, because it's daily. There's 3 or 4 games in a row, winning or losing. A good team can lose 4 in a row. A bad team can win 4 in a row. So in baseball, they're going to adjust. They're going to adjust less, but. Yeah, I think that line. I think the line's somewhere in the right area. I mean, but if you have a play, still go with it. Either way, if you're going, well, I want to fade them. They're in a losing streak, or if you want to take the other side, they're going to snap it today. But if that's all that your logic is, one of those two, it's probably not winning logic. You should have your power rankings, or there should be more in the play than just either one of those logics. What's the most sharp play you've had in the past 2 months? Oh man, I can't answer that one. A big mistake. Okay, I'll tell you. I mean, I'm not going to tell you the company. Something was supposed to be -320 and it was +260, and I got 10,000 on it. How many games do you bet a day on average, and what is the minimum? But I was down to lose those accounts if I got caught. If you bet something like that for that amount of money, be down to lose the account because they're not going to be happy when that bet goes through. And if they don't even catch you, factor that in. So you have to factor in everything there. Do I want to lose this account? But I feel in the heat of the moment, we don't. All these variables go out the window. You're going, oh my god, this is free money basically. Not well, it is if you were to arb it out. And myself, I'll always bet those if it's not in my own name. Shit, I don't care. Next man up, you know. But be down to lose your account. In some cases, not get paid and lose your account if you're doing it in the islands. In the islands, they don't play around on those. But it says under their terms that if you bet a mistake, they can cancel it. But in the U.S., they have to honor the bet. So in the U.S., in someone else's name, I'm always betting that. How many games do you bet a day on average? It's so many.